Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Dynamite recap with the Drip King, Jimmy Bay. Um, if you saw the show, I this show was off the rate. It was amazing. This was a great show. This is the way you want to follow up your pay per view. It was just from it. There was parts towards the end that kind of slowed down a little bit, but there was not a bad moment on this card. I'll say it's not a bad moment. I had a problem with one thing, but that's just me personally. But the show, top to bottom, was great. They accomplished a lot. They got things going for this next pay-per-view. Not that we know anything that's happening at the next pay-per-view, but after a pay-per-view, you got to get the ball rolling, get storylines, get everything going again, make everything fresh. They did that here tonight, I think, and they gave us a fantastic show. That's all I can say is a fantastic show. Starting off the new stage, it was beautiful. Small changes, very small changes, made a world of difference. I just love looking at having the people come down the ramp. It just looked good. I loved it. It's a great stage. I hope they keep it, honestly. I don't know if it's just a one-time thing because they're in Los Angeles. I don't know, but it was a great stage. Let's keep that up. Now, let's jump into the show. It starts off with the man, the new AEW champion of the world, CM Punk. Doesn't start off any better than that for me, baby. And he's teaming up with FTR. We get a 6-man match. I'm excited about it. I love Max Caster. I think the Ass Boys have a lot of charisma, so they make a match at least fun to watch with their charisma, their just their whole demeanor in matches. This we go. It was holy shit indeed. Holy shit. Give this the chant. Holy shit. It was good. It was great. I loved it every second of it. The match itself between CM Punk, FTR, and Max Caster and the Ass Boys, it was a good match. It was a great way to start the show. I know people are going to make a lot out of CM Punk tripping over the top rope. I don't care. He's always been sloppy. That's the way he works. That's the way he operates. Always has been, always will be. There's always going to be those little things that happen. Who cares? I don't care. The match itself was just really good. It was really fun, and it was the perfect match to start the show off with because it just gave the fans something to enjoy. It got the crowd hype. Obviously, CM Punk and FTR go over here. Nice GTS into the big rig combo to get the win over one of the Ass Boys. Billy Gunn tried to get involved. CM Punk powerbomb one of his boys into him to get rid of him. Afterwards, Punk grabs the microphone. He goes, hey, nice little line here. He goes, I've never done any drugs, but I'm pretty sure this is how it feels. It was nice little line. Dax gets on. He cuts a promo about how he just loves wrestling, what Dax says all the time. And then Punk got the mic back and he says, Forbidden Doors happening this month. We got a pay-per-view to sell. I know he's back there. Who am I getting? And then out comes, as David says, Tanahashi. I'm not going to lie. I think there might be a few disappointed people here. There's other names that I think they were expecting to see against Punk. I don't think this will be a bad match. There might have been more people to use. I don't know, though. I'm not that big on New Japan. I've just heard a few people say, there was other people they were expecting. But so be it. Punk Tanahashi, David's saying it's going to be good. I'll take his word for it. He knows good wrestling, so I'll co-sign what my man David said. After that, the moment we all were waiting for tonight, as soon as they announced MJF was going to be talking, we were eyes glued to the TV. We wanted to see it. He comes out, cut his music. He ain't here for fun and games. You can see it in his face. He gets in the ring, gets the microphone. I'm just going to give you the start of it. I'm not going to tell you anything else from the promo because I think you need to see this firsthand with your eyes. You can't just listen to it. You have to be able to see the facials, the emotion, the anger in which he's delivering it. It's the best promo I've ever seen in my life. Mark it down, write it, whatever. I co-sign this as well. The best promo I have ever seen in my life. And that's 2 from MJF in the past 6 months where he's given us promos that were this. This one's much better than the other one, but to be on that level 2 in 6 months is unreal. So again, he started off basically letting it be known, like, hey, you got some executives back there. I'm sure you don't want nothing bad to happen tonight with them back there with you. As David says here, in 42 years of watching professional wrestling, that was the best promo I have ever seen and heard. I have not been watching for 42 years, but I've been watching long enough to say he's not wrong. I've never seen one. And if you think you have one better, put it in the comments. Send it my way. DM it to me. I want to see it because what we saw tonight was unreal. Like just the anger and just the things he's spouting off. It's a lot of the stuff we all say is just MJF is saying it with some passion and it's raw and he's directing it right at Tony. At one point, one person, they said, you love to be worked on Twitter. Yes, I actually do like to be worked. And I don't believe this whole thing was a work. I think it turned into a work. Once they realized what they had, they caught lightning in a bottle. They're going to run with it because if there's anyone, if you want anybody to run with something like this as MJF, he's going to make it work. That's all I'm going to say. I said a lot about it, but I'm not giving you anything from it because I just think you need to see it. It's that good. David and truth mixed in. There was a lot of truth. I want to talk. I'm not going to though. You just need to watch it. If you watch it and you want to talk to me about it, hit me up. I will talk to you about it because I loved it. After that, I don't know how you follow that up. But as crazy as it sounds, shush. Yes, I will shush. I'm moving on. I'm not going to talk about it. I don't know how you would follow up with that. They followed up with Johnny Elite coming down and signed a contract where it's an open invitation to anybody. Okay. Okay. Let's see what he got. There was some rumblings who it might be, and ends up being Miro. Before the match, before he comes out, he cuts a promo, and he sells me. Again, I did not think it was possible to follow up the MJF thing, and Miro didn't top it, didn't even come close to it. But he gave us something damn good, and it was good enough to just transition from that hot promo to what Miro's doing, which, as my man David is saying right here, he cuts an amazing promo. This it was it. This might be the second best one I've seen him do since coming to AEW. It was really good, and it lets you know exactly where Miro is going from this point on. It was good. His match with Johnny Elite, he comes out. It was a decent match. Miro, little ring rust. He ain't been in the ring a minute. Johnny Elite, they don't seem to have crazy chemistry, but it was good enough to put on a decent match. Miro ends up submitting Johnny. Obviously, Miro's not losing his comeback match. Good on Johnny for coming in, doing the work, putting Miro over. Good match. So that's the first three things that happened, and I was already just like, the show is beautiful. It was just good. You need to watch it. From there, they go to a Jericho Appreciation Society promo. Now, I might have put this before the MJF thing because I feel like it came down. It brought the show down a little bit, but it served a purpose. Jericho's out there gloating about winning the match, about what they did to Kingston, Moxley, and Bryan Danielson. I caught myself. All that. So good stuff. It's good stuff, just not like there's no what is it? It's just not like fight. There's no fire behind it. It's just he's just going through the motions with this. But Kingston ended up interrupting. He's by himself. He says he come down there and whip all five of their ass by himself. He don't care. Regal's behind him though, and then he says, "Regal, tell him what it is." Regal gets the mic. The moment you were all waiting for. As soon as Regal came, not the War Games. It's blood and guts. He gave you the line. Be happy about it. There it was. So we're going to end up doing the same match again, just blood and guts. I will like this one infinitely more because they'll be confined and I won't have to worry about what's this, whoa, over there. No, don't do that. So I'm looking forward to that. I think it would be, I like their violent nature that they have, the way they just kick the shit out of each other. It's good. It seems real. And inside the cage, I think it'll just be better served as far as TV product goes. Dave says Beck calls out the Wizard. Chris calls to the haircut Beck's got, probably. Notice Kristen called Becky out on Twitter because he don't want that smoke. That's facts. That's truth. But back to the show. But as this is all happening, Eddie Kingston comes to the ring. Everyone jumps on Eddie except for Jericho. Jericho's still in. Then Ortiz slides in from behind, clips him, hits him, and then cuts some of his hair out and leaves. That leads to Jericho challenging him to a hair versus hair match. That will be the week before Blood and Guts, I believe. I'm not 100% sure, but that'll be interesting. Is Chris cutting his hair? He should. He got that bald spot, kind of like me, just a lot bigger. So cut the hair, Chris. Stop it. After that, they showed Samoa Joe being attacked by Jay Lethal and crew after his match with Adam Cole. They put his arm in the chair, slammed it in the wall. They really did work on his elbow or shoulder, one of the two. Sorry. Eddie getting cheered in LA when a Yankee shirt. The diehard fans of AEW love Eddie Kingston. I can't argue that. They love Eddie Kingston. I'm not a fan. That's me though, but they love him. He does have a realness factor to him, so I'll give him that. Next up, this is my only beef with the whole show because I just don't like 10-man match. They do them too much, I think is the problem. 10-man match. Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish. Sorry if I screw this name up, but it's Hikuleo from New Japan. The Young Bucks taking on Matt Hardy, Darby Allin, and Jurassic Express. That means it was Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, and Christian Cage. And this was a 10-man match. What you would expect out of a 10-man match, you will get out of this 10-man match. That's all I'll say. Young Bucks go over. Of course. They hit the Meltzer driver, I believe, on Jungle Boy. Maybe. Afterwards, this is the only interesting part. Matt Hardy was consoling Jungle Boy. They were saying, we'll get him next time, whatever. Christian Cage slides in, separates him, says, no, come with me. Don't mess with Matt Hardy. So there's interesting stuff there with Christian. Christian's telling a story there. So that's what happened there. Again, 10-man match. You know what to expect. If you like it, watch it. If you like Bucks, watch it. If you don't, you're over them. They do them too much. Like me, if you think that like me, then it's nothing to be overly worried about. After that, they show a Lee Swerve backstage segment. Swerve got a jacket from somebody. It's a 1-of-1. Pointless, honestly, in my opinion, pointless. They shouldn't have even had that on show. After that, we do an Athena interview with Tony Schiavone, and she talks about she's going after Jade. Then Jade Cargill comes out, and she goes, cut the shit. And Jade just takes over the entire thing. She has that presence on her. She's on the screen. Nobody else stands a chance. She's just taking all the attention. Then Jade says, I'm not giving you a title shot. It ain't happening. As Dave said, Hikuleo. Sorry, I'm screwing up his name. He's New Japan, part of the Bullet Club. I actually did know this from the last New Japan pay-per-view I watched. You'd be happy about that, David. I actually watched one. But yeah, he's part of New Japan, so he'll be part of the Forbidden Door. Absolutely, for sure. That's definitely going to be a thing. But after Jade tells Athena she ain't getting the title match, I believe it was one of the baddies got in her face, and then out comes Anna Jay, and then out comes Statlander, then all six of them doing this. And at one point, Stokely Hathaway got the microphone. He starts running down Athena, then he calls out for security, and then everything gets split up, and that's the segment. So we'll get a 6-woman tag match, maybe on Rampage. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe on next week's. You're gonna get that before we go any further. I do not believe Athena is taking that belt off Jade Cargill. That would be a travesty. I do, however, think Chris Statlander being involved in this is a big deal. I think she's the one that eventually takes it from Jade. Further down the line, though, not anytime soon. After that, we get Wardlow versus JD Drake. And Wardlow finally gets his music back, and they completely butchered the timing of it. He was out on stage standing there waiting for them to start his music. I don't know if that was intended. I hope not, because it didn't come off good at all. But who cares? Wardlow comes down. He does his thing. The crowd is heavily invested. He hits a few power bombs on poor JD Drake, gets the win. He's going to keep racking these up. Interesting, they released the rankings. Wardlow is number 1 on the rankings, even though he just legitimately signed with AEW, and this is his first win as an AEW employee, so that's weird. Got my man Zane in the chat. What up, Zane? This is a bit late, but holy fuck, still not over that MJF promo. I'm gonna be thinking about him for a while. Yes, I will be interested to see, because we're all aware this is a work at this point, or it turned into a work. It'd be interesting to see if AEW puts this on their YouTube or their Twitter page or anything like that, because then it doesn't come across as a work. It comes across as a work. It does not come across as this real life angle that MJF is portraying it as. So that'll make it harder for people to see it, but I think that adds to the just amazingness of, I'm making up a word there, amazingness, the fantasticness of, well, anything good, add ness to the end of it, and that's what that promo was. And I think you will dilute it by putting it out there on YouTube and all that. You're taking away from the whole angle by doing that. So if you didn't see it, find a way to watch it, and hopefully they're not putting it on their account, because it doesn't make sense that way. But back to the show. Zane done got me off track. After Wardlow won, he gets served some papers by the lawyer. Sorry, I can't remember his name. Mark Sterling. Boom, got it. There he was. He comes out, neck brace, selling the beating from Danhausen. And he serves Wardlow papers for attacking all the security over all these weeks. Wardlow's like, what the hell is this? Rips it up, power bombs the security guard that gave it to him, and then shoves the paper in his mouth. Not sure where they're going with that. I'm interested to see who Wardlow's next opponent will be for a feud. He just beat MJF, so there's not much room to grow from there, in my opinion. So we'll see. Let's go. After that, American Top Team promo. Cut it on Dante Martin. They have a match next week, Scorpio Sky versus Dante Martin for the TNT title. And he says, you got a lot of potential, but you'll never see it when you got to go against me, yada, yada, yada. I don't like Scorpio Sky promos. I especially don't like that nonsense he does at the end of them. What is that about? But Dante Martin ends up interrupting and says, I think I'm better than you now, and then walks off. That's it. That's the whole thing. I just told you what it is. So don't worry about it. And the match is next week on Dynamite. Zane here bringing up a good point. This is what I was talking about the other day. Wardlow for the TNT title. That title has been treated like utter gutter trash. Utter gutter trash. That's what that title has been treated like. So how do you bring it back to a prestigious level? You put it on Wardlow, the hottest man in the whole company. Before tonight, I think MJF is now that guy. But you put it on Wardlow, and it's going to have prestige again. Simple as that. And he's going to have a lengthy run for it. It'll build, and it's just a good story to tell. That's who I would put it on as myself. Obviously, Zane agrees with me. Zane is not always a little shit. He has some good ideas every once in a while, so thank you for that, Zane. Next, we do Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter versus Ruby Soho and Toni Storm in a tag team match. And by God, this is the match of the night, in my opinion. I'm not sure what it is with these four women. I think they've had a similar match like this in the past, and it was really good on Rampage. I don't remember the exact match, so don't butcher me. I'm sorry. I missed that Rampage because of all the time changes. Then the playoffs need to stop so I can see the show. But they have great chemistry. These four have just great chemistry. Little tidbit I noticed. Maybe not everyone did, and maybe I'm just pulling something on nothing. I don't know. But Toni Storm was in the ring. Britt tried to tag Jamie in, and Jamie's like, "No, I'm not tagging in." And Britt's like, "What are you doing?" And that caused Toni Storm to get the upper hand on her. Interesting, right there. Is the dissension starting? The thing's starting to unfold for them. Don't know. But it would be time for Jamie Hayter to break loose of Britt so that she can go on to bigger and better things. They need new faces at the top for Thunder Rosa and for Jade. Jamie Hayter would be a great person for that. Let's see. David to the Wardlow fact. He will have it at some point, but I don't think he takes off Sky. I'd say he takes off Ethan. I don't know about that. I don't think Ethan gets it off Scorpio, and I think the story's there because Wardlow was supposed to take it off Scorpio, and then MJF screwed him. So now that he's free of the MJF stuff, he goes back after it, gets it finally, and then runs crazy on the entire roster. Nobody's going to take that belt off for a very, very, very long time. But back to the women's tag match. I hate to interrupt it because it was good. And as I said, I think it was the match of the night. Sure, you're going to be like, oh, Britt's not selling this, or you're going to be like, oh, this is a little sloppy. there's supposed to be some sloppiness in wrestling. It's not supposed to be this choreographed dance that everyone thinks it is. There's supposed to be some slop. They're fighting. It's not going to be crisp all the time. And as far as the no selling, a lot of people know. John Moxley is one. He no sells a lot. He'll start selling eventually, but he no sells a lot of stuff. So if you're going to complain about Britt doing, you better complain about John Moxley doing, in my opinion. But that's for another day. Not going there. The match itself was really good. There was a lot of cool moments. I highly suggest you go watch it. That's all I'm going to say. I think you should watch it. Britt took the pin here. Ruby Soho finally got to get the 1-2-3 over Britt. So Toni Storm and Ruby Soho beat the two. Afterwards, though, Jamie Hayter came in, cleaned house with the Owen Hart Cup belt that Britt's carrying around. Adam Cole was carrying his around as well. But as I said, I do think it's worth noting that Jamie Hayter wasn't going to tag in when Toni Storm was in the ring, and she's like, "No, Britt, you do it." I think there might be something there. Now it's time for the main. No, we're not going to the main event. Davis got. He says Ruby, Tony, Britt, and Jamie really showed out tonight, leading down to the Hayter Britt split. Little hints throughout. Yes, he noticed it as well. And he just verified. It's a good match. You need to watch it. It was a good match. In my opinion, you don't get a lot of these women matches that are good in AEW. It's a shame because there's a lot of good talent there. Just something, I don't know what it is. You don't get a lot of matches that are this good in the women's division. They're very few and far between at this point. This was one of them, so check it out. Now, it's time for the main events. Jon Moxley, Daniel Garcia. These two go to war. Jon Moxley, he gets split open. They say it's from the stitches he got from the match, Anarchy in the Arena, but they ain't tricking me. I noticed Jon Moxley pulling that little razor blade out of his thing and then trying to put it back in. Work on your camera work, AEW. I just praised them the other night on Double or Nothing. I thought they were doing a good job. And then what they do tonight, they put the camera on him as he's pulling it and putting it back in. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's a problem. That kind of took me out for a second. I'm not going to lie because I hate seeing that. It's just sloppy to me. But they pulled me back in because it was a very good match. It was a very violent match. These two just beat the shit out of each other. There's a couple moments Moxley just wasn't selling for things, but again, that's just who he is at this point. I think there's no change in that. Doesn't take away from the match. It was a very fun, brutal match. I would have liked to see Daniel Garcia go over here. I think it would have been a surprise. It would have given him a much needed victory over a big person. As David pointed out, I don't fight. What do you say? Sorry, it's not popping up for me. There it goes. I don't fight with someone, so I bleed with them first. Could be foreshadowing. I would say that had I not heard the interview with Garcia where he said he basically had the choice between Blackpool Combat Club and Jericho Appreciation Society. He knows how to wrestle. He wants to learn how to be an entertainer. He understands the business. I give him all the credit in the world for going out of his comfort zone to join the Jericho Appreciation Society. With that said, I guess he could leave them and join Blackpool Combat Club. I don't want to see it happen, though. I want to see him stay with Jericho Appreciation Society because I think it's odd. It doesn't seem to work. But, again, you take someone out of their comfort zone, you kind of see how good they really are. Are they able to flourish? Are they able to rise from the rubble or whatever you want to call it? Let's see. He says, the main event had me thinking at points that Garcia may pull a major upset over Mox. Yes, I thought the upset was happening, especially when Jericho came down towards the end. I thought, okay, there's the tool necessary to have Garcia go over Mox and it not be like, oh, bullshit. It's like, oh, damn, look at Garcia just pulled it off. I think it would have been great. It would have been an awesome moment. But it didn't happen. Kingston come rumbling, bumbling, stumbling down, almost tripped over his own feet and slammed his face into the new rampway. He caught himself, though. He grabbed Jericho, started beating him up, and then Mox ended up using that to get the win. Matt, yeah, here we go. He says he's been killing it with so far in the Jericho Appreciation Society. Matt Menor 2, Magic Mike, that's my guy. 2.0 rules. Love him. But Mox wins. He chokes. He hits his and then chokes him out. Another point I didn't like with this Eddie Kingston thing is He wants to kill Jericho. That's the thing he's trying to put off. I want to kill him. I'm going to rip his head off. I want to shit down his stuff. I want to do all this nonsense. He had Jericho on the outside with a chair into his throat. Mox wins, grabs Mike, and then Eddie just drops the chair, goes in the ring with him. Come on, man. You got to have someone pull him off of him. You got to do that kind of stuff. There's little things like that. You got to do them. But Mox had the microphone. He basically says, blood and guts, sign me up. So that's Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley for that side so far. We already know the entire Jericho Appreciate side is going to be part of it. With one by one them answering the challenge, I have a feeling we're going to get a fifth member that's not Bryan Danielson. I don't know why else it wouldn't be just like, yeah, we're all in. It's Mox doing it after Eddie Kingston said yes. Obviously, Santana Ortiz are going to ride with Kingston. That's their guy. I don't think Bryan Danielson is joining them, especially after Eddie Kingston tried to set him and Jericho on fire. And then, and then they started fighting, and they're on the same team. Then it was just wild and mayhem. So maybe Bryan Danielson will. I personally don't think it is, just with that little just individual saying, I'm doing it. We will see. Blood and Guts, I think it'll be cool. Again, that's a 1 week after the Jericho hair versus hair match with Ortiz. That's the show. I can't say it's the best Dynamite ever. I don't remember which one it was, but it's not the best. It was a fantastic episode of Dynamite, though. I'm not going to try and shortchange it just because it wasn't the best. It was a fantastic episode of Dynamite. I was not expecting them to come out this hard after the pay-per-view. Well, Kingston did run over a kid in Impact in one of the worst segments of all time, so it's understandable why his mind goes straight to murder. Yes, that's fine he's going straight to murder, but it's like he was murdering Jericho and then decided, oh, Mox has a microphone. No time to murder now. No, finish the job, bro. Make me believe you want to kill him. And if anything, I say something happens with Danielson and Eddie during that match. I think we end up seeing Eddie versus Bryan Danielson before that match, and then Danielson doesn't take part. That's what I think happens. We will see, though. I've been wrong before. It rarely happens, though. But again, that was the show. It was a great show. You need to watch it. I told you parts that I wasn't fond of. That doesn't mean you won't be fond of them. I will rarely say this. This was a better episode than Raw was. You will rarely hear those words come out of my mouth. But I am trying to be as subjective as possible, and that's what I'm going to say. It was a better episode than Monday Night Raw was. I said it. Remember this day, David. It won't happen very often again. But with that said, thank you all for joining me. I appreciate the company. I hope you enjoyed the show as much as I have. And if you haven't checked it out yet, you just coming to me for what you should watch and what you shouldn't watch. I hope you can enjoy it as much as I did and the people in the chat did as well. With that, I will be back. I'm not sure when I'll be back. We got stuff coming out, though. We got the podcast this weekend, in which I'm sure we will talk about this MJF promo. So make sure you watch it before you tune in for the podcast, because I'm not going to be hush-hush then. You heard me. Tomorrow, hopefully, our debut of the NXT UK recap with my main man, Andy. I think that will be tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Hopefully, that's tomorrow. I will see you in the chat for that one. And so that's that podcast, NXT UK, and all the normal stuff, interviews, lists, all that good stuff. Check it out. And Hell in a Cells this weekend. So I'm sure we're doing predictions this weekend on Friday. So check that out as well. With that said, one last thank you. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. And I will see you on the prediction show, if I don't see you in the chat tomorrow, for the UK recap. Goodbye. Boom. And I got to do this again by myself, so I done screwed up. You know how it is. And where it be at. There. Goodbye. There we go. Bye.